Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Church in Ocean Park. I'm Louise Dobbs. I'm the Minister of Music at this congregation, and it's great to see you. It's great to be here. How about a stretch before we have a song? And did I say Happy Mother's Day? Not yet. So I put some words in the chat. We all come from Gaia, and remember, Gaia is in Greek mythology, it's the earth personified as a goddess.
We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Hoof and horn, all that die shall be reborn. Hoof and horn, all that die shall be reborn. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Corn and grain, all that falls shall rise again. Corn and grain, all that falls shall rise again. So we all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. Rose and thorn, all that dies shall be reborn. Rose and thorn, all that dies shall be reborn. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean. We all come from Gaia, and to her we shall return like a drop of rain flowing to the ocean, flowing to the ocean, flowing to the ocean. And now, every Sunday, we come here with a myriad of thoughts and feelings and experiences, and we can center ourselves for the service to come by singing a chant from Thich Nhat Hanh. And the words are, I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. And we'll do that 3 times. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. Good morning and welcome. Janet.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Janet Gollery McKithen, and I'm the minister. I'm honored to be the minister here at the church in Ocean Park. You might be wondering if you're welcome here. Well, you're welcome. We are multi-faith or interfaith, so you're welcome if you're Jewish, if you're Christian, Buddhist, Wiccan, Hindu, atheist, agnostic, anything else or anything altogether. You're welcome no matter what your spiritual practices are or are not. You're welcome if you're tired, if you're energetic, if you love being at home, if you hate being at home, if you're trying to figure out what to do right now. If you're gay, straight, transgender, cisgender, binary, non-binary, whatever you come as, you are welcome here. I want to begin by wishing you a blessed Mother's Day, and blessed Mother's Day to all who celebrate, all who grieve, and all who are burdened with mixed emotions today. Especially after the leak that there are those who would like to codify and are working hard to codify, regulating a woman's decision on whether or not to be a mother at a particular time or in a particular circumstance. We give the thanks for those who took to the streets or are working in their own ways to fight patriarchy and supremacy and all that would seek to control our lives and our choices. Today's Mother's Day may be touching us in a different way collectively. To me, it feels like this is mountain trying to create an avalanche to come and squelch all of the good that we've done, that has been done before us and amongst us. And there are those that are trying to hold this avalanche back, and those who are trying to rise above it, and those who are trying to blow it up, and those who are trying to create something new. We need all of that and more. Wherever you are in the movement, or whatever you can do, or whatever you can't do, we appreciate you. This Mother's Day has an added layer of meaning, but Mother's Day is also personal. There are those who have complicated relationships with their mothers or with their children, those who long to be with their mom or with their child, and no Zoom doesn't fix it. Those who long to be mothers, those who are finding other ways to mother, and ones for whom that didn't heal the hurt. There are those who have lost their mothers recently or a long time ago. Those who have lost children unexpectedly or after a long illness, or because of the pandemic, or because they were jogging on the street. And the hundreds whose children were killed by racism and white supremacy. For mothers who are detained or incarcerated apart from their children. Children who are detained or incarcerated away from their parents. For the earth, our mother, for healing, for strength, for all of us who strive to be better children, better siblings, better parents, so that peace, justice, and love can prevail for all of our God's children. Today we celebrate those who have nurtured us and how we are nurturing other people, both personally in our daily lives and collectively by helping to establish policies that are more nurturing. Since Church in Ocean Park is interfaith, you might hear theology or views expressed that you disagree with. We are a diverse community, so that's to be expected. So if you hear something this morning that you disagree with, or it's not your theology, we hope that you will still feel welcome. Your voice is just as important as whoever just spoke. If you have questions or concerns, use the chat to let us know. And sometimes we create smaller groups during the week to talk more about whatever it is that you are disagreeing about or that you strongly agree with. We have a special guest musician this morning, Malika M. Malika is a mother, artist, entrepreneur, and all-around creative channel for God to flow through. She has been singing since before she could talk. Malika sings popular covers spanning multiple genres from jazz, R&B, pop, neo-soul, and gospel. She is currently working on a project of original works, and I am very proud and happy to welcome Malika.
Hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and happy
Morning.
Mother's Day. Faithful Mother, Father, I call you through the years. You've been great physician when sickness lingered near. And through distressing moments, your name is new and sweet. You've become comforter to me. You are comforter. That's who you are to me. Comforter. A name that fits so perfectly. Peace that passes all understanding. Comforter is who you are to me. It's who you are to me. And to the grieving family who weep for loved ones gone, the pain of separation consumes another home. And on the waves of sorrow, you walk with perfect ease. Comforter is who the whole world needs. You are comforter. That's who you are to me. Comforter. A name that fits so perfectly. Peace that passes all understanding. Comforter, is who you are to me. Peace giver, life changer, joy river, peace giver, way maker, life changer, peace giver, joy river, comforter. That's who you are to me. Comforter, a name that fits so perfectly. Peace that passes all understanding. Comforter is who you are to me. Comforter, it's who you are to me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Malika. I feel comforted in my heart after that song. Beautiful song. We now have a great opportunity to hear somebody else. Carla Fantozzi, who is works at the with the city, but also the Virginia Avenue Park, sent me an email saying that I should meet this person because she thought that we would be able to connect, and she was absolutely right. Naila Moo-eye-ed and I connected on a whole bunch of different levels, and she goes by Nubia artistically, and she is an inspirational author, a consultant, and a poet whose work revolves around the principles of spirituality, psychology, and creative expression. Her work is soul-stirring and engages people in an exploration of a deeper sense of purpose. She's been a featured speaker in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Diego, Seattle, and New York. She's also performed in Paris, Sydney, Dubai, and Egypt. Through her company, Divine Variations, don't you love that title, Divine Variations? She has developed and facilitated healing through writing workshops. The Rhythm of the Heart variety show produced Agape Poetry Jam and Dance and the Building Bridges program. She's published 3 books, which includes 2 children's books. And she's currently developing a workbook for a new paradigm for education, which we drastically need. Welcome to the church in Ocean Park, Nubia.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me here today in your space and for sharing space with me. And before I begin the message that I felt called to share today. I just want to start by saying that what I have to offer is not found in the words that I will be saying. The words are but a doorway. As we step through them, we find the blessing. And so with that, I invite you to open a little wider, to just receive whatever part is for you and whatever energy you may feel, and just breathe it in as I receive to give. And so the title of today's message, The Divine Mother, a context for self-realization. On this day of celebration of mothers, the divine mother, the creative force within all of us, I welcome us into a deeper awareness of ourselves and of our oneness with all of creation. We have that wonderful music from Malika, as that comforter. And for many of us, that mother energy is comforting, and is an embrace. In creation, that mother energy is what nurtures, it's what feeds and sustains, right? And causes growth and transformation, which is where self-realization rests, right? Where we reveal and realize more of who we are and whose we are. And so when we think about how mainstream society, the world, if you will, is calling for our attention, that divinity that is within each of us, it just sits and it speaks gently, consistently, pervasively, simply saying, I'm here. And so let us answer today. Let us say, I see you. I am you. I am here. All of life sits on a divine platform, and it springs forth from divine universal laws. An example of universal law, we can think of, mentalism, right? Which it really speaks to what we hold in thought is what will manifest as our experience. Another universal law, as above, so below. Or like attracts like, right? Those who have similar energy will pull together those with a similar vibration. And also polarities, like there's hot and cold, light and dark, full and empty. Those are some universal laws. And so today, while contemplating the divine mother, there's that universal law of the active and the passive at play. There's the giver and the receiver, that which grows and that which nurtures. And all of that is within us. All of those principles are at play all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not, whether we engage them from a conscious mind or not. And so today, I simply present that call of engagement, of conscious engagement, of divine engagement. I think about the first time that I heard the call for conscious, deeper engagement. It was when I first discovered I was pregnant, some 25 years ago. I received this inner deep call that said, engage, grow, take your next step in awareness and in life. I desired what was really a foundation that I could give to my daughter, something that I found worthy to give to someone, and at that time, I would say my belief in God was only what I had been given before as a child. And I had to find what I really felt, what I really connected to, and what moved me in a genuine, authentic way. So I set out on my journey, of soul evolution, if you will, and a deep understanding of God and life. And, the divine was calling. It was calling for me to know who I am to know whose I am, and to know what God is. You know, I went first to my roots, which were in Islam. You know, then I went to Christianity, into Buddhism, and into the Baha'i faith. I went to African spiritual traditions. You know, I went to Eastern philosophies. I went to all of them. And in all of them, I found a common chord. You know, I found God, you know, the divine, love, the creator of all life. You know, by whatever name we might call it, we call him, you know, that divine pattern, you know, from which all of life springs up. You know, some of us may call it God, some of us may call it Allah, you know, Jehovah, or Dios, if we speak Spanish, right? And so for me, becoming a mother is what hearkened me to induce my spiritual journey, right? It was like this divine shot that said, oh, now it's time to live. You know, I'll be responsible for somebody else. This has got to go. So, you know, my journey as a mother has been, you know, one of my greatest initiations in life. It's been a constant source of blessing, of information, of challenge, of course, and of growth and transformation, you know, teaching me where I succeed and where I fail in relationships. And I'm sure a lot of us, you know, can relate to that. Relationships are one of those great places where we meet the edge of our comfort zone and where we feel embraced and understood sometimes. You know, so in being a mom, I got to see how I'm attending either to the divine or to the mundane. You know, it shows me within myself, you know, what I'm looking at, what I'm paying attention to, or what I'm not paying attention to. You know, my children, I have two children, two daughters, if you will. And one of them you just heard singing to you. So I'm so happy that she agreed to be here today to, you know, hold that space with me for me to share what I have to give. You know, my journey of self-discovery, it was deepened through, you know, spiritual work, while being a mom is what, you know, gave me that initial boost and that initial desire to engage. You know, I've been on a deep spiritual journey, and I've, you know, been through Egypt and India and Peru and in my household, you know, but those are definitely stories for another time, you know, but all of that, throughout all of that, there was this inner voice that was calling to me. You know, it wasn't anything external that was speaking to me, you know, speaking to me through my relationships, through my experiences, through my heart, you know, simply saying, I am here, listen. You know, so I've come to know that inner voice as the divine mother, you know, the aspect of divinity that holds the context of our divinity, that knows who we are, that knows whose we are, you know, that holds space for us as we traverse both the trials and the triumphs of our entire experience on earth. You know, and it's simply up to us to turn our attention to that voice, to listen to that inner voice as it calls. And so today, in what I have to share, it's an invitation, you know, for you to just, what in your life is calling to you to listen, to be bigger, to calling you to heal, calling you to take your next step. You know, not the next step of your brother or your sister, your neighbor, or your colleagues, your boss, not their next step, but your next step, you know, which is going to look very specific for you. You know, and I can't tell you what it is. I can't tell you how to hear it or to feel it. It's just for you to tune in. And I am simply a reminder, if you will, that you are being called, you know, to a higher expression of your being. And that is simply, it's up to you to listen, simply listen. we all know how to listen. We know how to engage when we're willing. Willingness is definitely the key to being able to hear. It's just a matter of what we're willing to give our attention to in any given moment. Are we attending to that which feeds and nourishes our heart and soul, and to the hearts and souls of those around us? Because that's what's being called for, right now. And so let's listen. And I invite you to think about even making a commitment. What are you willing to commit to do differently this week in order to hear your divinity, rather than spending so much attention on that which might not be divine, that which might be the mundane of life? So just take a moment now, even as you listen to me, take a moment to think about, what can you realistically commit to do this week that will have you listening to the divine within yourself, not within someone else? Now, I invite you to actually, as you're thinking about what you can commit to and what commitments you're making for yourself, to think about if there's someone close to you. They could be right next to you, or someone you can send a text to, or even text yourself, as that divine reminder and an accountability partner, if you will, and share, I commit to do this. I commit to engaging in this in order to listen to the divine within myself this week. As you even listen a little deeper right now to that voice that is speaking out in different ways, I want to give this piece of poetic storytelling as I hear her calling to me. I hear her calling me. The divine feminine is what I have been seeking, beckoning me to go deep, summoning me. The inner voice calls to me, simply asking for me to hear her. In this moment now, I just need your shoulder. The weight of the world is digging a groove in me, and I knew that I could come to you and you would soothe me. The divine feminine, the essence of my being, the context through which I create and relate, the role that unfolds as I allow spirit to feed my soul. What does it mean to be me? I could assume another's identity, donning different suits and briefcase and masculine and feminine duties. However, those are not the role that God chose as me. What does it mean to be? First, I am a daughter. From the divine seeds of life gave forth to my life. And I am a mother. I bring forth life. Seeds from my divine go forth to bless and lay not strife. And I am a sister, lifting as I climb. See my success as your divine birthright. No one can do it alone. We are here to relate. So let us lay down the fight and release the hate. And I love all my brothers and sisters, for you represent me. From the lightest ray to the deepest root, within each one, there is truth. That truth is calling. It desires to break free. It's all in our dreams. And I hear her calling to me. The divine mother is calling. Peace.
We'll hear again from Malika.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I'll never measure up. and I'm more than just a sum of every high and every low. Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, oh, you say I am love when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I am feeling weak. You say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I am love when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. You say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You'll have every failure, God. You'll have every victory. Ooh, oh, you say I am love when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak. You say I am held when I am falling short, when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe, oh, I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. I know my heart is warmed from both Nubia and Malika. Thank you so much. This is the time for community sharing. And so if you have a comment, doesn't matter if this is your first time here or if you've been here many times before. If you'd like to make a comment or ask a question of anybody to a point, you can do so by raising your hand. You do that by going down to reactions. At least in some computers, go to reactions and you click on it. Raise hand is at the bottom. If you can't find that, you can just go like this. It would be helpful if you put your video on during the community sharing time so that we can see you if you're waving your hand. Also, we just like to see you. So if you have a chance to do that, that would be wonderful. Okay, we start with Craig Ali.
Thank you. First and foremost, it is such a treasure to have community sharing. I've been involved with a lot of religious institutions that don't have such. And so I treasure the opportunity to dialogue with such spiritual souls as the one that is here today. She speaks a lot, when I hear her, I'm reminded a lot of the aura and the sayings encased in the metanetta, which is the African spirituality that many have adopted, which respects the idea that women are indeed life givers, and every man came from a woman, no matter how powerful. If not, then where did he come from? And so when I hear her, and look at where we are in this world, I'm wondering, because I consider myself one who is in battle with those that reject, this message, and fight and seek to destroy this element. So I'm wondering, I'm thirsting for, I guess you could say, wisdom that will put me at peace, knowing that I have to struggle with this issue. And it would be so also helpful if indeed there are further words of wisdom to keep me secure in the idea that I have to more or less struggle with those forces that seek to lie and distort reality and truth. If indeed, there are words of wisdom to that, I'd love for her to speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. Nubia, would you like to speak back to that?
Thank you, Craig, for just offering a moment to expand into your heart and your soul. And what I hear you asking for in this moment is simply a deeper connection and knowing of truth within yourself. And my encouragement for everybody, just as I was speaking about in the message, is to really to go within rather than looking out here for that to inform you, because it is within you, within the foundation, the spiritual foundation that I spring forth from, which is deeply Kemetic, if you will, or Egyptian, but Kemetic, is that we are God expressing. So God said, and here we are, and here all life is. And so it didn't leave us. It is us. It is in us. And so it's up to us to tune in, even as things out there are calling for our attention. And so that's why I really sincerely invite each of us, just what is one realistic thing that we can commit to do differently this week to tune into our inner voice, to start listening to that in a deeper fashion?
Thank you, Nubia. I love that question. I think we could ponder. That's a good question for all of us to think about and to express. Rachel Rose?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Nubia, for your words touched me deep down in my bones. Being someone who transitioned from male to female, I think I have a very deep appreciation of going from maleness to the embrace of the divine feminine. And also that's what brought me to my faith as a Wiccan, as a follower of the feminine principles. And your words prompted me to write something down. Only when humanity fully embraces the divine feminine will we have any chance to know a world of peace.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much. Claudia.
Hi, I want to put this in the context that Nubia and, I'm not going to say her daughter's name correctly, Marika, anyway,
Malika. Mhm.
both of them were wonderful. But I'm glad that we have the service right now, and the message is really good. I just want to give an experience of mine. I'm a doctor. I went to medical school. I started in 1979, and the Roe versus Wade was 1973. And I was in Detroit. I was in Wayne County, and I wasn't naive, but I was young. I was in high school when Roe versus Wade happened, but then I was in medical school, in 79. And I was on rounds at a hospital. It was Sinai Hospital. You hear about Mount Sinai in New York, but this was Sinai Hospital in Detroit. And it was in downtown Detroit, or in Wayne County. And it really, it's a Jewish hospital, but it serviced everyone. But what I remember is having attendings and being on rounds where they talked about, like, we'd be seeing a patient, and then they would talk about what it was like before Roe versus Wade. And I wasn't familiar with all the issues until I was in that experience. And the issues were, a woman partly choosing when to have a family, but there's a lot of medical conditions associated with it that that can threaten the life of the woman. So I really wish we wouldn't call the anti-abortionists pro-life. But that being said, there was a lot of passion in the doctors that wanted to see something different. And we've been able to create that. And my hope is that passion isn't going to be lost, because I don't really understand what's happening right now. But I just remember that passion, and that gives me hope. I don't think it's just about choice. I mean, I don't think it's just about choosing when to have a family and ending something, but there's so many other things involved. And, we're a complex, or we can do critical thinking, and I hope we engage each other in that kind of conversation, but with a lot of passion for the life of the mother. All right, thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. And I think I love what Nubia was saying about no matter what's happening outside, to go within. We all have our inner strength, and we all have our inner divinities, and we're all sacred. I believe we're all sacred beings. And I think that I would leave you with what she asked us to do for the next week, is to look at ways that we can connect more with our divinity, with our divine inner self, and find our strength, because we are all a part of the sacred spirit together. And at least that's my belief. And I so appreciate you, Nubia, and I appreciate your daughter, Malika. And I'm so glad you're both here together on Mother's Day, which is very incredibly appropriate. And we will definitely continue to be in touch. And right now, Louise Dobbs is going to, in the chat, they have put their contact information. So if you would like some more of them, which I'm sure you would, go to the chat and you can copy off their contact information. So we're going to have a song now from Louise Dobbs.
This song is called Way to the Well, and it's written by Starhawk, who's a Wiccan and an author. She's been around a long time. We will never, never lose our way to the well of her memory and the power of her living flame. It will rise again. We will never, 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 never you, everybody.
Yes, everything we touch changes one way or another. So let's change it for the better. Yes. And so we close out today reminded by Nubia and others that the divine is within us. We are all divine and we are connected to it and we are connected to one another through it. And so everybody unmute. We are going to say our closing is carry on, and we say it chaotically together on Zoom. So we grab hands with one another and we leave spaces for those we can't see, spaces for those we don't know. There's always room for all that is life within us and without us. Vulnerable. We take carry on. One, two, three.
Carry
Honey, hi, Ayana.
on.